Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, good. Okay. So,
Hi.
Happy New Year.
Thank
Uh,
you. Same to you. Happy New Year.
Thank you. I was just getting my headset adjusted, but what we're doing
Yeah.
here today in this event is actually giving uh, to anyone who wants one. And what I do is I take your question and then I do a
Hmm.
random pull of the cards up on the big screen, and
Yeah.
I give you your reading. And a reading can be as general as you like or more specific. Um, it's really up to you. So right now I'm going to
Um.
get my little laser pointer.
Yeah.
Here we go. There. Got it. So the laser pointer lets me make it clear what I'm talking about. So if you have a question that you would like a reading for, feel free to
Yeah.
ask.
Um. Kind of like something like, what does my near future hold? Or do I have to be more specific? Specific.
No, you
Specific.
don't
I
have
always
to.
get that word mixed up.
You can, that's a
Okay.
perfectly fine question. That works. So, what I will do
Okay.
is I will go over here and I will pick a random selection of cards for you. So, basically, just give me a number from 1 to 5.
Um. 4.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So, let's go back to the middle. Now,
Yeah.
near future and what that holds. So, what the tarot is going to do is basically give you some suggestions to some things to consider and keep in mind for your near future. Now, you have a
Hmm.
3 card reading, and basically, the way we look at these is we say the card on the left represents something that you basically kind of have already that you can rely on. You can fall back on. You don't have to worry too much about. It's kind of there, and it's receding in importance for you to keep in mind. And in the middle is something to really sort of grasp right now, something to focus on in the immediate sense. And then on the right is sort of what's coming, what what is in store, where you need to go from here.
Hmm.
Okay, and we're talking about near future. So none of these cards are huge major arcana cards. They are a little bit more personality oriented, and they sort of have a temporary quality. So they fit your subject matter of near future. This isn't too long
Hmm.
lasting an influence. Now, on the left, you've got the King of Cups, and the cups are the heart. They're everything that you feel, everything that you consider part of your emotional life. Um, Love, anger, you know, anything that gets you feeling emotional about anything, pursuing what you love in work or in romance or just in your imagination, pursuing anything that you love. Um, and the king is sort of a slightly more long lasting influence than these number cards on the right. And that basically
Hmm.
signifies that this is just a person or a quality of your own personality that you kind of want to pay more attention to. And the king has a great deal of calm, reserved authority, power, strength, self confidence, an ability to not worry too much about what his heart is doing. He doesn't get all wrapped up in it and lost in it. He doesn't get bogged down in being in emotional reactions. He's able to master his reactions. He's able he has insight into his feelings and how his heart works. And when I say his, it's
Right.
just because it's a picture of a king, but it's just as easily applies male, female. It's not, there's no restrictions in tarot in that sense. And he is basically, he has almost a cavalier attitude about his emotional life. He's holding the cup on his knee, and he's kind of got his thumb crooked in his belt, and he's looking off here in another direction. Maybe he's looking at the courtiers in court, and people are telling him, giving him advice, and meanwhile he's got this heart symbol on his knee, and he's opened this cup. He's able to sort of delve into this subject matter of his feelings, but he's just not overwhelmed by it. He's never thrown by what he's feeling. He never goes overboard in his feelings. You know, he doesn't jump into some horrible anger. He doesn't get overly, he's not overly reactive. So he masters his emotions and feelings, and he kind of enjoys having insight, and he's always considering what his feelings are. So what this means that this is an aspect of you. This is something to sort of understand about yourself and rely upon. This ability to explore your own feelings and not be overwhelmed by them. And that brings us to the present,
Mm-hmm.
something to really think about now. And again, all of these cards are about your heart. They're all cup cards, they're all emotion, they're all this love and
Mm-hmm.
feeling. So you have this ability to master your feelings and understand them and sort of live with them. And coming into the center, and something that the cards want you to be aware of very, very short term, is this three, which is the number of activity, of taking your feelings and making them apparent, putting them out there in the world, and taking action based upon what your heart is telling you. So the three is never hesitating, it's never stuck. It's always going, hey,
Mm-hmm.
now is the time. It's now or never. I'm going to do this. And it's in the realm
Yeah.
of your heart. So it's basically saying that thing you're feeling, that feeling you've been sort of thinking about lately, take some action on it. It's time.
Yeah.
Now, what that leads to coming up, the next thing to think about is this big number, the nine of cups, which indicates the ability to push through and to finalize and complete something. So if your heart is telling you something and you want to take action based on that feeling, then the next card is saying, okay, it's going to take effort. That nine is basically the card of you're almost there. You've almost completed something that you've been trying to do, somewhere you've been trying to get to. You're almost there, and it may take extra effort, but you have that stick to it quality in everything you do,
Mm-hmm.
and to rely on that and stay calm about whatever it is you're doing. Remember, you've got this mastery on the left. You've got this ability to
Mm.
handle any kind of feeling, but taking action on some feeling that you have is necessary and leads to increased effort, but that increased effort brings you to the finalization of a decision,
Mm.
brings a feeling out into the world, and your actions complete. It could mean that you decide to engage in something that you've been wanting to, that your heart has been telling you to, or it could be the opposite, to disengage from something that your heart has been telling you to
Mm.
leave behind.
Mm.
But it does take effort, but it's basically the doorstep here. The nine is the doorstep to the finished accomplishment. So
Mm.
that's the basic trajectory of your reading for near future. This doesn't last all that. This doesn't go on and on and on. This is just, as you said, near future. Could be a month or two, something like that.
Yeah. Oh, that was very interesting. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
It's really insightful. Yeah,
Thank you.
enjoyed that.
Well,
Thank you.
I'm glad you showed up and had a question.
All these people,
Yeah.
didn't see anybody. Okay, I'll just
So
end.
what I
Yeah.
will do is I will enable the participation. So I've enabled hand raises now. So if anyone, oh, here we go. Okay, so one just popped in, and it's Anuket.
That's me.
Anuket, where are you? Hi, Anuket. How
Right
are you
here.
doing?
Hello. Good and you?
I'm very good, thank you. So the idea here is you pick a question that you want to ask, and it doesn't have to be any specific kind of thing. It can be general, it can be whatever it is that you want to say, and then I will pull cards for you and give you
All
what
right.
the tarot says.
Let me start by saying real quick, my headset battery may die, so if that happens, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But as for my question, I guess it would be, will I finally start taking steps to moving forward?
Excellent. Okay, pick a number from 1 to 5.
5.
Okay, hang on 1 second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Moving forward and taking steps. You have 3 cards presented to you.
Alright.
The card on the left is suggesting something that you have ingrained that you can rely on, some part of you, an aspect of you that you can keep in mind and not worry too much about. And my laser pointer just decided to go all over the floor. I'm not sure why it's doing that. But anyway,
I can
it's
ignore it if you
so
can.
weird. I don't know what Allspace has going on, but it's like so
It's
weird.
whatever, you know.
Let me see if I can delete it um, from the um, from the array. Here we go. Host laser delete gone, and then let me get another host laser out because this will make it easier for you to follow what I'm doing if I have a laser. Okay.
Okay.
There we go. Okay, so the card on the left is an aspect of you that you can sort of hang your hat on, a personality quality that you can use in this example. The center card is something to
Mm-hmm.
keep in mind right now in the present, and on the right is somewhere to go, something to get to. Okay, so you've got a page of swords, and this is mental energy, the swords. This is intellect. This is your thinking and belief. It's also conflict. It's also how how you communicate with people and engage with them and share ideas or resolve conflicts. And you've got the page, the valet de paix in the French. And the page
Mm-hmm.
is young, enthusiastic, but is a little confused, doesn't quite know always which way to go because there's learning going on, there's development happening. And so, in about near future and whether you're going to take action to influence your near future and what you want to do, this page indicates a lack of resolution, just that very question that you have. It almost represents the question itself. And it's a mind, it's your thoughts go round and round, and you don't quite know which way to step, which direction to go in to get yourself going in your direction, which direction to choose. But this page is never worried about that. He's never worried about that confusion. He 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 enjoys the process. There's enthusiasm. It's this sort of young approach to like, well, I don't understand everything about this new world I'm in or this new job I'm in, but so what? I'm 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 good with it. I'll figure it out. And that's the quality of
Mm.
mind that the page here suggests to you, to not forget that. Keep that sort of
Yeah.
cheerfulness and light. Keep Don't dwell on thoughts too much. Don't dwell on the confusion too much. Don't let it hamper you and bog you down. Just think of it as a learning process, is what this card is saying. And then in the center, you come to something that the cards are wanting you to focus on, like each morning when you get up. And it's a 5, and it's in the wands. Wands are creative force. They're the energy that sends you out the door to do something, to make something, to be something. And that 5
Mm.
basically suggests something a little unsettling comes into the picture. If you have a decision about where to go for your development, your future, that 5 says, okay, this destabilizes you for a while. It makes you wonder, what it can I do? Can I accomplish this? What's this new idea I have of this direction to go in? Should I? Is it dangerous? Is it a risk? Well, and this is in the realm of drive and energy and creativity, how you apply yourself to anything it is you want to do. And that 5 is unsettling and makes you nervous because it implies decisions, but it also is a positive, that 5th factor that comes in to unsettle the 4, basically, the stable 4, is always an opportunity for development. And so the cards just want to remind you, if you keep that young, enthusiastic lightness of mind and go into this without bogging yourself down in worry, you will have a chance for creative growth and development that will lead you to the card on the right, which is the Page of Cups, which is basically, look at the picture. The page has just
Mm.
lifted the lid off that cup and he's looking in. In other words, he's looking in to his own heart. He's looking in and exploring what it is he wants to do, what he loves to do. And he's actually trying to find that. What what is my heart really telling me? And the page, just like the page on the left, always has that enthusiasm, that sort of wonder, that wanting to know more and never being afraid of what his heart tells him. So the idea here of these 3 cards is, don't get bogged down in the decision making of moving yourself forward. Enjoy the process of learning that it implies. Keep your mind nimble and light. Allow yourself to accept the uncomfortable new situations that arise and demand more of you creatively, and seek your true feeling for what it is you love to do, and that will give you your answer. That's what these cards are telling
Wow. That's really crazy because I'm actually an artist, and that's what I was kind of thinking about.
you. There you go. And I know the whole, with art, any kind of art, it's fraught with all kinds of self-doubt and worry about where what you're doing and how to do it, and am I good enough at this, and will anybody care? Oh yeah, it's
Mm.
yeah. So just keep that
Wow.
enthusiasm in mind, because your reading on the left and the right keeps reminding you, keep that enthusiastic approach to learning. Yes.
Yeah. Great. Thank you.
You're welcome. And let's see if I can drop my laser without it turning into like a spinning debacle here. Uh, okay, the prof. The, the prof is coming. And
Hey, how are
hi,
you?
the prof. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. I'm just here trying to decide like what's next.
What's next for you?
What's next for me?
Okay. So, in other words, like not what's next, just sort of like what might come around the corner by accident, but
No,
kind of what.
I have what to do. I mean, I have so many options. I'm
Yeah.
trying to decide on which of the option to take.
Okay. Pick a number from 1 to 5.
4.
Okay, hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. 3 cards. Now, let's
Sure.
look at the left card as built into you, something that you have that you can apply and sort of call upon. And the card in the center is something to stay aware of right now and keep in mind each
Mm-hmm.
morning. And on the right, where you go, what you want to seek. Okay, on the left, we have wands, that creative fire energy, that drive, that will to do and to make and create and to be. And you have a 7. Now, the 7 comes, it's sort of a number that comes after a period of development and introspection and learning. And it says basically, I am aware of new things that I'm able to do. I am aware of new powers, of new capacities. I am also kind of elevating my thinking a little bit. I'm almost achieving kind of a sense of understanding that's high, on a higher plane than I used to have before. And I'm able to take this new awareness and apply it in the world for benefit, not only for me, but for the people around me. So that 7's a very positive number of development. And it means keep in mind that you have this enormous capability creatively to adapt and learn, and you are functioning on a high level, and you are bringing your creative energies into whatever it is you're doing and whatever environment you're in. So you bring beneficial action into the world around you. That card is saying, that's you. Remember that. Now, in the middle, you have the gigantic 10 number of coins. And coins are you sort of the materiality of the world and your life and what you need and have, what you own, what you need, the money, finances, your actual job, your house, your possessions, your physical self, your health, all of those things that have sort of an earth component to them. And the 10 is the number of major accomplishment, major, success. You have gotten to a place where you can draw upon resources that you may not have had before. You also, though, when you complete something, you kind of have a sense of, I did it. What's the next thing? So it's saying, keep in mind that somewhere in your life, maybe financially, maybe physically, somewhere in the earth part of your life, there is great success, potential for it in the very near future, or you have just had it. Draw upon that. You can draw upon that to assist you. Okay? Just keep it in mind and the don't ignore the materialistic aspects of life around you. Now, keeping all that in mind, what we move to in the near future is the 2 of Cups, which is heart, emotion again. We're getting a lot of that tonight. And the 2 is the symbol of coupling and preparation. But the coupling is interesting because it implies, if you're thinking about romance, it implies a coupling. You find someone. It can also imply simply, if you're talking about work, that you find something you love and you join up with it. Okay? And it's a good match for you. The 2 is always a good match, whether it's romance or work or friendship or anything like that. It's just a good fit. So there's a good fit coming, and that good fit, because it's the cups, gives you a really good feeling. It brings happiness with it. It makes you kind of feel like I'm finally doing what I really want to do. So keep in mind that this ability on the left creatively to adapt and learn and achieve very high levels of thought and skill and bring that to benefit people brings material success. Okay, and the cards want you to remember that. That's why it's right there in the middle, which leads to a very positive coupling, pairing, a match for you in some realm. This could be work. I don't mean to always say this is a love connection, but it's coming for you. And if good fit is around the corner.
Thanks very much. Thanks very much. Thanks very much, bro.
You're very welcome.
Respect.
I have to reduce my volume on something here. Okay. All right. So let me see. I have in the participation panel. King Rel. Let's see. Where's King Rel? King Rel, hi, how are you? So, you just ask your question, and I will ask the cards, and we'll see what they have to say for you. Can you hear me, King Rel? I don't know if King Rel is still there.
He may have to unmute.
King Rel, are you muted? Can you see on your panel of buttons at the top? Is it red? I think King Rel may have taken his headset. I'm not sure what. Okay, so let's do Rachel. Rachel, hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm good.
You ask your question, and then we ask the cards what they have to say.
Okay. I've been having a difficult situation, and I want to know if everything will turn out all right.
You got it. Okay. Now, I'm going to mute everyone because I'm getting some feedback. So you're in a difficult situation. You kind of want to know how it will turn out. So the cards are going to give you a suggestion on sort of how to consider this and what to sort of think about. Okay. One thing I want you to do is give me a number from 1 to 5.
4.
Okay, hang on. One, 2, 3, 4. All right. Okay. Let's see where we are here. 3 cards. Left card, something you've got, something you can rely on and use for this. Center card, something to really focus on in the next little while. And on the right, something to go for that's coming right around the corner, something to really seek. Okay, let's go to the left. The Queen of Swords. Swords are your thinking. They're your communication with others. They're your ability to resolve conflicts, to deal with people, beliefs, anything of the mind and of communication and interaction, any of that kind of energy. Now, the Queen, she has authority. She has power. She has understanding. She also wants everybody to prosper. She nurtures, in other words. She's growth. She's health. She is like inspiration. All of those good qualities, how one applies one's intellect to bringing people in a positive direction. You have that. That's an aspect of you. that you can rely on at all times. This calm, quiet, easy, gentle ability to influence, to resolve conflicts without drama, huge drama, okay? An ability to sort of seek the middle road. The queen always represents an even-handed approach, a calming influence on people. And the card is basically telling you, keep that in mind. Use your communication skills to always sort of keep things moving along in a reasonable direction. And that brings us to the middle card, which is an active symbol. It's a knight of wands, and the wands are energy and creative power. Your ability to apply yourself to making, to being, any kind of desire you have to accomplish or do anything. Kind of like the work you want to do. And the knight is action. The knight has no fear. The knight basically says, hey, whatever the problem is, I don't really care because I'm just going to handle it. And there's no way I'm not going to handle it. There's no failure here. There's no option for that. I just do what I do and I never look back. The knight is very sort of outward focused and goes off into the field and accomplishes what it is he set out to do. He, her, she, it works either way. It doesn't matter. Just because there's a picture of a guy on a horse doesn't matter. It's the same thing. So the card is saying you have this ability for calm communication and reasonableness, and you're able to control things and bring about positive outcomes in the queen. Now, there's a time for action. There's a time to take a step that maybe you haven't taken before, and the knight is saying, this is that moment to take the positive step without dragging your feet and being all confused and bollocksed up. And you know, the knight can take action after calm consideration of the queen. That's basically a succinct way to put it. Now, what this leads to, this ability to rely on your calm problem solving, take action without fear, what this leads to is the King of Cups on the right, which, again, you have calm, masterful authority, but in the realm of the heart. And the king is basically saying, I kind of know my heart. I kind of know what I feel about all this. This isn't new to me. I actually do know. That's why I don't really worry about the cup. See how he's bouncing the cup on his knee, sort of, and he's looking off in the other direction to look like there's other business over here on the right. And he's like, I got this. I know what my feelings are. I don't have to dwell on them too much. They're not going to freak me out or anything because I know what it is that I want. I know what I love. And I follow that. And I don't get all nervous about it. I just accept it and I take correct action. So this king over here kind of is an extension of the queen. So the queen has this ability to calmly think things through and to resolve things with people, to resolve conflict. She takes the right action in the middle without worrying about it. And then the king reinforces that with a very similar approach to life as the queen. That same sort of authority with calmness. See how he has his hand sort of hanging off his belt? That's calm. That's easiness. That's an ability to say, I can handle anything and it doesn't fluster me. So that king wants you to remember that coming soon, in whatever your situation is this ability to understand what it is you truly want and to just take action based on that. And all of this implies a sort of fearless quality, but never taking actions that are beyond the bounds of reasonable. You see on the left and the right, you have two reasonable people sandwiching the action in the middle, which means that that action never breaks the bounds of appropriateness. It's always reasonable and considered and makes things better. So there is your general idea. And I'm going to unmute there. So that's just stuff to keep in mind. It doesn't give you a specific resolution to anything, but it gives you kind of a thing to sort of think about yourself,
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Now, let's see.
If I can move my hand, okay.
We have Queen V.
Okay.
Queen V.
Yes.
Oh, here you are. Hi, Queen V.
Hi. I've been here before with you, I think,
Ah.
once.
Well, I
I
guess I
liked
didn't
it.
drive you away that time.
No. I'm coming from a funeral. I don't know if you know there was a big funeral tonight for somebody in Alt Space.
There was?
And they just finished. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Somebody died in real life, and there was a huge funeral. So I'm coming from that, so I might have some darkness around me, but I was feeling positive before that. I saw someone I know sang Tears in Heaven, and I cried my eyes out. So, but I would love to hear about the next couple of years for me in terms of where I'm going to go with.
Okay.
I do tarot cards, and I use a different deck than you.
Yeah.
And I gave my son his first tarot deck at Christmas.
Oh, that's awesome.
And he's getting so much out of it.
Yeah.
That it's really helping him. So you gave me a great reading last time. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
So I would like to do another one if you don't mind.
Okay.
But there is some darkness around me because I was just crying.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know that many people in alt space.
I didn't know her well. I knew who she was, but it was 2 hours of very moving, people singing and crying, and that catches you, no matter what.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so are you thinking about like the next couple of years? Is that's what you
like the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years? There's a lot of changes in my life going on. And I'd like to see which direction I'm going in, basically.
Oh boy. Okay.
I'd like to just talk about me. I talk about everybody else when I do cards.
Yeah.
I do cards for everybody, tell them everything. And you stayed late last time.
Oh yeah.
Because I said
I
you wanted
remember
those
this.
cards.
I remember this. Okay.
Right.
Pick a number from 1 to 5.
3.
Hang on. 1, 2. Oh my gosh. Okay, come back here to the center. Okay, I'm going to mute microphones now so I don't get feedback. Okay. Well, I mean, being familiar with tarot, you probably recognize that this can't possibly go wrong. So, on the left, let's think of that as an aspect of you that's sort of ever present and always reliable. In the middle, something to think about, like to sort of get yourself going in the process, like right now for your future efforts. And on the right is what's coming. Okay, an ace has appeared on the left of coins, the material, physical, the aspect of life that involves any materialistic qualities, anything to do with job, money, your yard, your house, your apartment, your health, whatever it is you can touch and sort of, money you can touch some money, but that's all part of the coins, obviously. And the ace is just this unlimited potential, this huge, huge capability. It's like a big flashing light that's saying, hey, Remember this. Remember this ability you have to earn, to take care of yourself and of the people around you, to take care of your home and your family. Remember this enormous part of you, this incredible capacity you have for building things that people can use and that keep people safe and healthy. Keep that in mind. That's part of you. It's built in. It's going to come to your assistance whenever you need it. There it is, not going anywhere. The ace is always a giant symbol of this is coming. This is something that big. And it's amazing how we can ignore really big things. Keep it in mind. It's there for you. The Queen of Wands here in the center, this is something to launch with. This is something to say, okay, this is the guidance for my steps out through the door into the next couple of years of effort. And that queen is an enormous creative force, a force for growth, a positive. The queen basically is the bursting garden overflowing with flowers and vegetables and vines. Everything is bursting with life. Anything around the queen immediately starts growing. Sort of think of it that way. If it were an animation, the queen would be walking through and all the grass would start growing and all the roses would bloom, and the water would like be coming down and the sunflowers would explode open. It's that kind of symbol. And it's in the realm of your creative capacities, your desires, your energy to do things, to be who you want to be is all wrapped up in that fire energy of the wand, that force that compels you forward to be something you want to be. And the queen is basically saying, keep that force, that creative force in you in the forefront, right there. Always use it because it brings about all of this great material gain, focusing on that energy. And the queen is always calmly nurturing. It's almost like she doesn't even realize it. As I said, she walks through the garden and everything starts growing, but she doesn't even really notice. She's not she's not overwhelmed by anything. She has this ability to do things in an even keeled way. She always has faith in herself and other people. She's a very trusting, but also you can't fool her. It's like those old things, you can't fool Mother Nature. She's wise. Okay. So keep that in mind in the way you approach creative efforts and in the way you approach turning yourself into something. That queenly, nurturing, calm, trusting, but very wise persona. And keeping all of this in mind and never forgetting your material gains, your ability to prosper, leads you right where she's looking to the World card, which is probably the biggest card in the deck of tarot. It's the final realization card of wholeness, of development that has led to completion, to a feeling of being integrated, of your personality being kind of a self-realization, a birth, a rebirth. So you move through this creative energy and you use it. You say, hey, that secret source in me that brings everything to life around me and in myself, if I keep using that and I trust it, it can't fail. It leads me to this complete sense of self and achievement. I mean, it's basically full awareness. it's not just accomplishment in work, but it's a full awareness of who you are and an ability to sort of radiate that out past that ring, that wreath, radiate it out. And you see this character in the middle is almost dancing because that's joy. That's a sense of I am who I am, and now I finally know who I am. And it puts her in touch with these four messengers, these four connections to higher realms. So there's expanding world. The world expands and expands, more and more awareness, because you have reached a point where you're like, there's a satisfaction here in this card. So the overall trajectory of this reading is deal with the specifics, deal with the material aspects of life, handle that because you're able to. Don't shy away from anything that involves the physicality of life and money. Just deal with it. Rely upon that incredible ability you have to bring everything to life, and it leads you straight into a very healthy, fully realized personality, and your world around you benefits from that immensely. And there you have that. And I'm unmuting microphone.
Thank you. Uh, I think I think the world card came up last time you read for me.
The world
So
card, you
I'm
know,
just looking.
it's the world card sits at the end.
I've never pulled it for anybody. I've never pulled it for anybody. I mean, I get the same cards over and over for certain people,
Yeah,
and they change as their lives change.
yeah.
And just, I'm gonna go into my. I'm gonna ask my son to pull a couple cards for me now because he's really enjoying this.
Well, I think it's great.
But it helped.
What a great
I was
way
feeling
to.
really down tonight.
I mean, they always say, if you give someone a tarot deck, that's like a really great gift, and
I
they,
used a gift. I used a deck my daughter bought me
yeah,
in New Orleans, and she paid some stupid price that I could have gotten it for $20 on Amazon. But she gave it to me as a gift with love in her heart.
yeah,
And my kids believe in this. I mean, they're not kids; they're adults.
yeah,
My son's 23. I mean, I wouldn't give it to a kid, but I started at 17,
yeah,
and I've learned a lot from this. And I really like it when other people read for me
yeah.
because it so seldom happens. So
Well, if
thank
you're
you.
repeatedly getting the world
I
card,
needed this one.
yeah, I mean, the world card is a great one to keep in mind. Really, it's,
If my son pulls it tonight, I'm just going to be like over the moon.
oh,
So,
yeah, yeah. Well, good.
pardon me, I'm sniffling a little bit. I had to be muted like for 2 hours in this funeral
Oh, boy, yeah,
because when they sing sad songs, I lose it.
yeah.
So, I'm going to thank you very much. I
I didn't
appreciate it.
know they were even able to do that in alt space. That's amazing.
Well, what do you know Maddie Boy?
No.
He does, they have like a karaoke. It's in Maddie's world.
Yeah,
I know at one point when I looked, there were 76 people in there.
that's great.
It was huge,
Yeah.
and a lot of people were, singing and talking, and it was someone that had affected a lot of people. So I knew who she was, but I just, my friends were singing, and if
Well,
someone sings "Tears in Heaven," I totally lose it. I like start blubbering,
it's great that
and then I
people.
saw this, and I came here.
Well, it's great that people in alt space were able to do that. I mean, that is amazing.
They taped it for her husband to
Yeah.
send to him. Yeah, it was really nice. It's
Good.
the first. I think it's the first one in alt space. So I think the space is being used for a lot of good. So
Yeah, it does sound like it.
thank you.
You're
Thank you
very
tonight.
welcome. Yes.
Smaxion. I appreciate it.
All
I
right.
appreciate it.
Now I'm going to
Thank you.
move to Brick. Brick, if you're here, let me see if I can find Brick. Hi, how are you?
Hi. I'm good. How are you?
I'm very good. You can ask a question and we will consult the cards.
Um, well, I'm graduating from a coding boot camp in a couple months. So it would be nice to see how things will go after that,
Ah,
I guess.
I'm going to, okay, pick a number from 1 to 5.
Uh, 4.
Okay, hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Coding boot camp, huh? Okay. I'm going to mute mics so that I don't get feedback. All right. Card on the left, we can consider an aspect of this, of you, that is reliable, present, and you can call upon it. Card in the middle is something to think about right now, and the card on the right is a way forward. Now look at that card on the left. That's a 5, and it's of cups, and that's heart. That's what you love. That's what you want. That's your feeling for things. We're talking about graduating from boot camp. Boot camp. Code boot camp. and the 5 is this sort of sense of, and it fits with a graduation, because if you have a 4, you have the 4 stable points of like a structure. They're safe, they're sort of a fortification. And the 5 is the destabilizing of that. The 5 is like, uh-oh, something new is coming up and I've got to deal with it. And it kind of makes me a little uncomfortable. But this new thing that's come in, which could be graduating from code camp, could be wanting to go and find a job. Your next step is that 5th element. That cup in the middle is the 5th element. And it destabilizes you and it makes you a little uncomfortable, but it's the moment of growth. The 5 comes in and announces itself as an opportunity for development. And it has a lot to do with what it is you really want. If you love coding, if there's something about coding you love databases, you love game development, you love web scripting, something you love, there's a factor here that you're trying to figure out. Pay attention to your heart. Pay attention to what it is telling you. Follow the heart. The cups always show that. Follow the heart. Learn more about what makes you feel good when you're working. What makes work seem like play. The 5, as uncomfortable as it makes you, as nervous as it makes you, is the moment of growth. So instead of shying away from that new element, you move toward it. That's what that 5 of hearts, of cups, which represent the heart, is telling you. And it's saying you have this. You have this ability to handle these feelings and to figure out what it is you truly love to do. Now, the 7 of coins comes in and says, okay, you know what? You've achieved a higher level of understanding about what it is you want to do. That's what 7s represent. But they also represent taking that understanding and using it and applying it for benefit. Material gain, job, money. There's opportunity here. So with this destabilizing 5, there's a huge opportunity for growth if you follow your heart and find yourself doing what you really love to do. It brings about this incredible development in materialistic, home, being secure, feeling safe, having a home, being able to pay for things, being in a steady job. That's power, that's 7. And that 7 implies continued growth from the 5, continued development in the realm of the material, of sustaining yourself, of sustaining your family, supporting yourself. Now, that moves on forward again. What you want to seek. And you switch to the swords now. And it's a 3. The 3 is action. The 3 is take the step and don't worry. And it's talking about mental development and intellect and applying your intellect and resolving problems. It's also communication. The 3 is very active. The 3 says, okay, I'm ready. If I'm graduating, yes, that's what that implies. School prepares me. Graduation launches me out the door and basically says, okay, kid, you're on your own now. What are you going to do? Well, that 3 says, okay, now it's time to apply everything you've learned and to rely on it and trust it and take real action without any doubt whatsoever in the pursuit of what you have determined over here in your heart cup card is what you really will truly love and be happy with. And to not lose focus of the monetary and material aspects of what it is that you are going to seek, and make sure you continue to apply your intellect and your knowledge and your new training and put that to use. You can also apply swords to interviews. Communication. Swords are very much about communication and resolution between people and agreements. So keep all, and the 3 is don't waver. Stick with what you want. Insist on what you want and take action to get it without doubt. That's what that reading is telling you. And there you have it.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I say all this because I'm a coder. So I've been coding
No,
for a
like
long time.
it makes
So yeah.
it's very hard. So
And there's all kinds of
this is
coding you
actually
can
very
do. I mean,
encouraging.
there's different languages. You can be doing HTML one day, you can be doing JavaScript, you can be doing C Sharp, you can be doing, you know, there's so many things you can be doing in coding. And how are you, do you apply that to like, data intensive app building for a company or corporation, or do you go into a more creative technology? All of those things are like in an array in front of you, and that these cards, of
Yeah.
course, they keep telling you, pick one, pick where your heart really leads you, and then things work out from there. So,
That's awesome. Thank you.
you're
Thank
very
you again.
welcome. I see Jumapali. Jumapali, I bet no, that's Liv. Jumapali is right there. Hi, Jumapali.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. Um, I guess I want to know what I should be doing going forward.
Okay. Pick a number from 1 to 5.
2.
2. Okay, hold on. 1, 2. Okay. You know what's really interesting about tonight is that we're getting a lot of cups. Okay. Jumapali. Left card. Reliance. Something you have, an aspect of you can rely upon and use. Card in the middle. Keep in mind, right now, when you make your next step. Card on the right, where we're headed. Page. Valet de Paix, the Page of Swords. The page learns and has enthusiasm even in the face of confusion, even in self-doubt. The page never loses confidence, always kind of just enjoys going out there and giving it a try, even if he falls flat on his or her face. And the swords are, of course, intellect, communication, belief, your ability to resolve anything, your ability to interact with people, to come to agreements, to solve, to debate, to solve interpersonal issues. Okay? That page is saying, look, don't lose sight of the fact that you always adapt and learn, and you always maintain a positive outlook, even when the going is really tough and it's hard to figure things out, and you can't come to a resolution with someone. You can't quite get there yet. You never say, oh, I'm done with this. The page always just says, no, 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 I just keep going and going and going, and I don't care how dumb I look to everybody else. I just always keep going. I keep trying because I know it's going to get better. I know I'm going to figure things out because I'm going to learn. That's what this card is saying. Keep that in mind. You have that. Now, the Three of Swords kind of comes in and says, okay, you keep that enthusiasm, you fall flat on your face. And the reason you fall flat on your face and get back up is because you're not afraid to take action. You're not afraid to do stuff. You're not afraid to take your intellect and your ideas and put them right out there and go, here it is. Does it look stupid? Ha ha, so what? That's what that three and that page are saying. I don't care if you don't like my idea. Hey, somebody else will. That's the attitude of the page. I don't care if my idea is half-baked. I'm still putting it out there because I'm going to develop it and I'm going to learn more and more, and by next week it'll be an awesome idea. You do this fearlessly, like the page does. You do it fearlessly and you take action. The three is always the number of action without fear, without hesitation. You take what you know, you take everything you've learned, and you go, bang, here we go. I'm doing it. And that leads, in short order, to the Six of Cups, which is this overflowing well of feeling, where, the six is all about harmony and sharing and kind of enjoying with people. It implies community. People around you are all happy about all of this. They share it with you. There's high interaction in the six. There's a lot of comfort in the six and sort of enjoyment. It's like sitting down at a great big dinner because everybody got paid that day and they all went out and had a great feast and they're having a blast and they're all talking and telling stories. That's the six. It's like all that harmony is going on. And so this means that you've found something you love, and you found people you love, either to work with or to do anything with. You found them and you're interacting with them, and it makes life just all better all around. And so that's what's coming right around the corner. And that's a result of keeping that youthful enthusiasm for learning and not worrying about failure, and taking actions again without worrying about failure, because you're implying everything, you're using everything you know, everything you've learned gets applied to the actions you take. And with this kind of sort of enthusiastic continuation of always learning and adapting, taking actions without being super nervous about them, lead you to this general comfort and loving what you're doing and sharing it with the people that you're with.
It's interesting because I just started school 2 days ago, but yeah, that's kind of.
Well, in school, I remember being in school, and it was a big deal when I had to decide what to major in. And I was like, I don't know. I don't know what am I going to major? I don't know. Oh my God. And I was like all wrapped up, so even school has these choices to make. And if you find yourself, school is work, basically. School is a job. I mean, you got to work hard. And so you want to be doing something you love, even in school.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
I'm 53. I'm going to school to do upholstery, and I've been a
bed.
quilter for 25 years. So I'm kind of going into like some more
My
sewing,
kid.
learning to do a different type of sewing. And it's just interesting that this is what came up because I actually am a lifelong learner.
That's
Have
right. Yeah.
multiple degrees, and
Yeah.
I always do that.
Can I
So
tell
it's
you something?
interesting
Can
that
you
this is
come
what
there?
came up.
I want
And
to
clearly, if you're
something.
going into this school and this upholstery, it's something you've decided you want to do this.
Good night.
Following your heart.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, that's the whole ball game,
Right.
really. I mean,
Thank you so
yeah.
much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
I have to wind it down now because we've gone a little over.
Nice mustache.
Oh,
Can
hi.
I ask you a question?
Yes, Maurice Ravel.
You are
Nice.
probably going to block me for this question, but I want to ask you anyway.
I don't block questions.
Do you really believe in this stuff?
I believe in any.
Be honest. Be honest with me.
Oh, I'm.
Inside yourself, do you really believe in this?
I believe that when you look at pictures of any kind, when you look at
Okay.
symbols of any kind, you get an impression by doing so. And that impression you get in the moment can have the effect of making you realize things that you may not have realized 5 minutes before.
So you're basically describing a placebo effect.
No,
Pretty
I'm
much.
describing if you walk into an art gallery, let's say you're walking down the street one day, and
But this is not our gallery. You tell people think about their future and their life.
no, I tell them
Right?
what to think about. The cards never tell you what will happen. The cards only give you suggestions for ways of thinking. They only give you sort of inspiration. Now, follow my example. The tarot is very similar to when you're walking down the street and you kind of don't know what you want to do that weekend, and you walk into an art gallery and you just go, oh, I'm just going to walk into the art gallery. I've never been in here before. Let's just see what's here. And you walk into a room and you see 3 paintings in front of you, and you've never seen them in your life. They're great paintings, let's say, by very famous artists. And you look and you go, oh my gosh, look at this beautiful 3 paintings. Wow. This painting here is of a man reading a book under a tree, and it's so beautiful. I want to go to the bookstore and buy a book. I want to go to the bookstore
emotion
and buy a book. Yes. And so you get inspired by looking at the artwork, and it gives you a new
How
way
can
of
I be
thinking.
inspired looking at a person with something in his hand?
Well, you may not. You may not be inspired by
Okay,
that.
so don't you think? So is this correlated with astrology?
I do not know astrology, so it can't be correlated for me.
Okay.
I look
So
at
you
the
just read the cards and tell people about what to interpret from the pictures that they see.
yes. Now the cards do have a general. There are beliefs about tarot cards and what the images tend to represent that go back hundreds of years. So that's kind of a foundation. But then
Okay.
you have
inside
that
your
foundation.
heart, you never doubt that
Yeah, I'm sorry.
in your life. Have you ever had a doubt in yourself that this means nothing?
Yes, of course I have.
Okay. And how did you answer to that?
Oh, I just stopped doing it, and then
You keep doing it.
and then
Okay.
I'd stop doing it for months, and then I'd come back to it and go, wait a minute, actually no. Actually, now that I look at the cards, I have a different attitude about them. They actually again seem to inspire me. Now remember, these
Okay.
cards don't tell you what will happen. So
Do you know my personal point of view as a scientist? These cards are BS and they are playing with people's emotion. That's my point of view.
it's quite possible that your point
Yes.
of view is
You know
absolutely
why?
valid.
Because usually people that they have a moment of weakness are coming to people like you to have a sort of vision about their life. And I think that you play with people's emotion because sometimes, not you probably here, some people say you will find love, this is going to happen in your life,
Yeah.
which is a total BS.
Well, most people
But
do.
sometimes, guess what?
Most people do find
You
love.
Yeah.
don't. You can't say what he says. Okay, just because you're a scientist, you can't tell who's doing what.
Come
What if
on.
people?
This I
No,
understand, everybody
no,
can
no,
do
no.
what they want.
You feel what you
Well,
feel.
wait, wait,
But what
don't
you're
argue,
saying
don't
is
argue,
wrong
don't argue,
about the other
I don't
person.
don't
feel.
argue.
That's the difference. I
His,
use facts. I
your,
don't feel.
your perspective is totally valid, absolutely, and
Of course it's valid.
yeah.
Even astrology is a BS. Astrology is not a science. It's just a bunch of BS.
Well, things that aren't science aren't necessarily BS. You could say the same of painting. Painting isn't
No.
science.
Painting is an art. Astrology is just saying Venus and Mars are aligned. This means my life is going shit tomorrow.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with
You could say
life.
you can say the same about religion. Many people
Exactly.
many people who are into math and science, however, do not say that about religion. They
Not many people. I mean, the minority of people, yes, I agree. Some people believe in that, but
Actually,
I think
yeah.
it's not fair.
Well,
Because if she has a moment of weakness and come to me and say, "What's going to happen tomorrow to my life?" I
well,
would
but
feel
as
very
as
bad to
I've
say,
said,
"Don't worry."
as I've said several
I
times,
understand.
no,
You
no, no,
say
no,
that
no.
you don't tell
The
people
cards
what
do not do that.
will happen.
What the cards do is they give their symbols. Their symbols the same way
And
any
many people
artwork.
that they read the cards, they do that. They say, "You will
Yes.
find love.
If
Yes.
people
This
read
person
them
will love you
wrong,
forever."
and
Yes.
some other, if people read them wrong and essentially give wrong answers, yes.
Yeah.
But what he's doing,
Yeah,
he's not
that's
reading
true.
their future. He's just expressing what the cards
Yeah. You don't ever, for
expressing
instance,
towards us.
if somebody said, should I accept a payment from Joe tomorrow? He's writing me a check. Should I say yes, give me the check? I would say, I can't really answer that question for you because I'm not an accountant. But
So for them, how is this helpful? How is this experience helpful to you,
well,
for example?
it's
What do you get home?
I haven't gotten his reading, but the other readings that I have, they were
Yeah.
you are right on one point. They are BS. Especially the
See,
fortune
those are the
tellers.
scam ones. I'm pretty
The
sure all of
fortune
this is
tellers
mainly like
are the
inspiration,
BS.
kind of like
well,
But this,
you
he's not basing off your next day or whatever. He's basing off of what is happening, like right
Yeah,
now,
but
this
you know that
minute.
those are just cards.
well,
right?
here's
How they
something
can
I
have
would
a
suggest.
meaning?
Art's an art
Hold
form.
on,
If
since
you don't
since
know
you are a
art, then
scientist or a researcher, there's a really great book that a psychiatrist wrote, because in his practice, psychiatrists want to help people and they're
A
licensed.
real scientist.
They're
Yes. They
licensed
are
to do
not
that.
astrologists.
Right. But what
Yeah.
he found in his practice was that when he introduced tarot cards in his practice with his patients, they had an overwhelmingly beneficial effect on his patients because they opened up more free exchanges and created
Yeah, it's the same
new
thing of
ideas.
religion.
And
Many
he
studies
wrote a
have shown that.
fascinating book, which I would recommend that you Google. I think all you have to do is Google tarot
I am
cards
familiar
and
with the.
psychiatrist. Yeah. But that
I
is
am familiar. When you have
yeah.
a faith in something,
Yeah.
you face a problem with a different perspective, and sometimes it's very useful.
Yeah.
But to me, it's wrong the idea to tell people that the card has a meaning,
Well,
because that's just a piece of paper.
all symbols have a meaning. If you
But what
see,
meaning? I mean, it's just.
well, but you
For
could,
example, those cups, they have no meanings at all. You are making the meaning.
no. What I do,
Probably
I
say
mean,
that the
that's the
cups
same thing
means
for the
abundance
entire
or
like
something.
English
well, no,
language.
the people create
honestly, okay.
images through history with a general sense of some meaning they want to convey. Now, the tarot is very interesting in that respect because it does, as I said, have that foundation of historical meanings attached to certain images. And as artists work
Okay.
on tarot decks, they embellish upon those meanings. But there is that general foundation underlying the history of tarot. So you don't have to stick to those. You can embellish on those. But the ultimate answer to what you're saying is that you look at an image, and if it doesn't inspire you, if it doesn't suggest something to you, then it doesn't. And that's fine.
Yeah, those, for example, they mean nothing to me.
Turn
They
off TV.
mean a bunch of symbols.
That's right. For you, that's what it is. Now, you could be driving down the street and look at a stop sign and it means nothing to you. When you're in another country and you're driving down a street and you see some traffic sign that's unfamiliar to you, you don't know what it's telling you and you could crash.
So you're telling me that they will get benefit to looking at one card and that giving a meaning to that card, basically. Then why they don't go and look at the Da Vinci and Michelangelo painting instead of looking at
Sure they do.
cards?
Of course they do. They're all anything you look at.
Each card, okay, each picture, no matter what picture or card, even if it has the smallest picture. You know, you ever heard a picture says 1,000 words? You ever heard that expression?
Yes, but this context,
Okay.
the principle of this context is always that the cards are predicting your life in some way.
They're not
you right now, but the principle of reading the cards is to predict
Well,
your future and
The,
your life,
the principle,
your
Not
love
always,
the
life,
principle
and
as practiced by whomever
majority of people
isn't
that live in
necessarily
cards.
valid. I would never suggest that somebody make a life decision based on what a tarot card came in their
That's
hand.
the problem. Many people do.
They
That's
may.
why then they are in
They
very,
may. But
very
that,
poor
but
situation.
that is not an indictment of the tarot itself. That is an indictment of how someone is using it.
Okay.
I don't want to interrupt, but I want to meet somebody that they're inviting me, but I came here to get my card read.
I actually have to go.
I'm sorry.
I have to go because I've gone way over now. So I
Okay,
can't.
I'm going to.
I got in this
Are you gonna be here
fascinating
tomorrow?
discussion with Maurice, and
I
so-
will add you as a friend. So let me know when
Okay.
you're on, so you can
Okay.
feast.
Okay.
It's
Thank
not
you.
about the feast, I promise.
Okay. Good. Okay, everyone, you keep talking it through if you want. Thank you, Maurice, for putting up with me.
Yes. Bye.
And I will see you later. Bye,
Night,
everyone.
team. Bye.